Praise the Lord. Um, this is about Debola Praise. First and foremost, if you must know, I'm a relationship counselor, a marriage counselor, and I've been dealing with marriages for quite some time now, based on the call, based on the responsibility God has given to us. I started sharing something on my platform about dealing with in-laws, and this is basically because I got a call recently, and it shocked me that some people can still be this wicked. Some in-laws can still be this ignorant, even though they won't call themselves Christians, because I believe that if you are a child of God, there are things you shouldn't do to your fellow humans, not talk of your fellow Christian, your fellow in-laws, whether by brother-in-law, sister-in-law, mother-in-law, father-in-law. Marriage is sweet when you understand the basic, when you understand the manual, when you understand the responsibilities, when you understand that marriage is about maturity. Marriage is not void of challenges. I started talking about dealing with in-laws, asking, are you struggling right now with one of your in-laws who has been intruding in your marriage? Or have you allowed your own parents, have you allowed any of your siblings to interfere in your relationship with your spouse? And I went ahead to explain how do in-laws become such a contentious issue in your marriage? Are you the spouse that doesn't understand why your mate has such an anger, resentful attitude when it comes to your parents' influence in your marriage, when it comes to your siblings' influence in your marriage, uncle, aunt, brother, sister in your marriage? Now, if I'm speaking to you right now, please understand why your mate is upset. So that I did last week. I shared concerning first intrusive, pushy, interfering, and very strong opinion in-laws. We always upset your spouse because he or she believes that your parents or your siblings are invading private issues that should only be talked about or decided by you and your spouse alone. As at yesterday, when a bike man carried me, it was so I'm not familiar with it, but he carried me yesterday, and it was so furious on the bike that he had to share with me that imagine, as a graduate, I'm driving bike. I'm not happy about it, but I just finished renting an apartment for my family, costing me 150,000. During December period, I bought rice, 1.5 bag of rice. I killed goats, and was sharing concerning how we spent money, even with this bike. Why was he angry? Because a third party called him. A third party in the person of his elder sister calling him that somebody else called her that the brother is driving a bike, that they are suffering. The sister was angry with him, say, what got to that level? Why should now the anger of the sister is not that the brother is driving bike, is because the family of the wife called her, and to him and to her, that is not good. The long and short of the story is, it was the wife that told one of the family, that the husband is driving bike, and they started saying some nonsense, thinking they were suffering. So he was so furious that while I wanted, initially I didn't tell, I was waiting for him. I knew it was a wife, so I was waiting for him to tell me it was a wife. So when he says it was, I said I knew it was a wife that went, only God knows what happened, that he had to go and tell the family that we are driving back. And intrusion, the issue of in-laws is so much important. So if you are wondering why your husband or your wife is always angry, it's not about anything. Forced intrusion, pushy, interfering, very strong opinion, in-laws, they're always upsetting. If you don't get that, now there's a problem. Secondly, I said last time, your made views, your unwillingness to stop this intrusion into your family as a betrayer. If you are the man that is doing this, if you are a woman that is doing this, it's a betrayal. So the question is, now your mate believes that every time you take your parents or your siblings side, or do nothing to stop your parents or your siblings, any of your siblings, intrusion, you are betraying your vows. And I don't know where you are hearing this from. I don't know which part of the world you are hearing this from. But as a child of God, there's a covenant in place. There's a vow that was made. Unfortunately, these days, people don't even reckon with vows again, because they believe marriage is about contracts, not talk of those that don't give a damn about whether they're married or not married. What they just want is to have children, have a companion, they're sleeping, having benefit for each other, meaning just having sex. But marriage is a covenant. Marriage is about vows. So betrayal is one of the deepest offenses that can ever be inflicted upon the heart of your spouse. This betrayal will create tremendous anger and will drive you and your spouse further apart with each infraction. So the question is, what should you do with this intrusive in-laws problem? A woman called me, I shared it last time also. I said, imagine the junior brother will come home, and then we expect I come home late in the night. Junior brother, and even junior in age, because of this stupid mindset about tradition, and expect her to wake up and cook, and the brother will not do anything about it. The junior brother will insult the wife, the brother will not do anything about it. The mother-in-law will come around, the brother will not do anything about it. That's the height of betrayal. So what should you do? I started talking about what should you do with an intrusive in-law problem. Number one, I said last time, ask yourself this question: is there really a problem? So every husband and wife must come to an agreement that there is a problem. Don't forget, I said when your husband or your wife is always upset about your parents, your siblings, uncle, aunt coming around, and then your privacy also always disturbed when it comes to decision making, when it comes to opinion. They do a lot of nonsense. They do as if they don't agree. There's a problem. What should you do with in-law problem? Agree there's a problem. 2, I said last time, discuss God's plans for in-laws, and I shared from Genesis 2 verse 24. Therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife. And the rest of the story. I made it plain what the Bible talks about the word leave and join. The word leave is one of the strongest Hebrew word, meaning to forsake, leave behind, let alone, or abandon. The word join is another very strong word in the opposite direction. It means to stick like glue, pursue, or hold fast to. So God is giving you a direct command to cut the cord with your parents, with any of your siblings, and be glued together as one with your spouse, thus creating a new family structure, independent of all others, creating a new family structure. Independence. Now, I think There was a time I was sharing concerning in-laws, and somebody said, no, now, how can you cut off? I'm not saying totally cut off. I'm talking about your spouse comes first. After God, the next person is your spouse. You still relate with them. They are not your enemy. But don't forget, and I'm sure, I don't know which part of the world you are hearing this from. They say blood is thicker than water. As in a family, the people die. But in this case, according to scripture, the blood of your spouse should be thicker than any other blood, meaning he or she should come first. He or she should come first. So it is important, I said last time, consider. You need to consider. Have you abandoned your previous way of relating to your mother, father? Are you more concerned about their own, your parents, your siblings, favor and respect, or your mate's own, or your spouse's own? Have you forsaken the influence of your parents' opinion, or are you still controlled by what they think about you, about your spouse? If you are guilty of this, more importantly, have you pursued a relationship with your mate that supersedes the one you have with your parents? Many homes today are in serious chaos. Many homes today have serious problems because of this. And unfortunately, because many don't understand. And unfortunately also, many don't know. Nobody's teaching them. Nobody's telling them, no, this is not as supposed to be. Many don't know. They are not informed about these things. And there's nobody to relate to them. That's why I want to beg you by God's message. As we are hearing this, help us share. There's help us share this content so that when the people that needs to hear it, they are relieved, they are taught, they are informed. The Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. Many are not knowledgeable of these things, and they just do it anyhow. And then a lot is happening in their marriage. Many marriages are going through divorce right now because of this thing. So number 3, you need to set reasonable boundaries line. Now the next step in resolving in-laws issue in your marriage is to set reasonable boundary lines that both husband and wife agree upon. Now what do I mean by boundary lines? They are predetermined limits that you set, so both husband and wife knows what will be allowed in regards to their in-laws. Now God has set, you need to know, God has set national, moral, physical boundaries to give us guidance and protection. So I'm sure if you check Numbers 33 verse 37, Exodus 20 verse 14, Job 26 verse 10, God always have boundaries for things, whether natural things, whether moral things, whether physical things. God always sets it. So let me give an example of in-law boundaries. You must set informational boundaries so both knows what information will be shared with your in-laws, be shared with your siblings, be shared with your parents. There are things that is meant for two of you. There are things that is meant for only you and your spouse, not the extended, not your parents, not your brother, not your sister, not your uncles. This boundary will keep you from disclosing information to your in-laws that your spouse desire to remain private. Now understand, many conflicts arise between married partners simply because this boundary is violated. Now, according to scriptures, certain information should not be shared with anyone. In Proverbs 25 verse 9 says, debate your case with your neighbor and do not disclose the secret to another. So you must also set time boundaries so that both will know how many time will be spent at the in-laws' house, how much time they will be in your home. Sometimes husband and wife fight because the in-laws are always over at their house. Sometimes some of them will just come unannounced. So setting time boundaries is paramount, is important. Because if you don't set boundaries, you can't have moments for yourselves, or your spouse is daily at your parents' home and not taking care of responsibilities at home. I've had series of marriage palaver, marriage issues, whereby the wife is always going back to her parents, and to the extent whereby even when the husband started cheating, she didn't even notice. Always my mommy, my daddy, my mommy, my daddy, my mommy, my daddy. And then unfortunately there was no fruit of the womb in the marriage, that the husband got another person pregnant outside. So setting boundaries goes a long way to help between you and your spouse. Boundaries like you must set decision-making boundaries so that both husband and wife understand they will make the decision in their marriage without having to consult the in-law first. Or once the decision is made, you should allow your mind to be changed because one of the in-laws voices. You shouldn't allow your mind to be changed because maybe your parents or one of your uncles or brother or elder brother says, says, no, I don't like this. No, for the fact that you have decided that this is what is obtainable in this home, this is what you want, nobody should be able to change it. Boundaries like you set boundaries concerning the discipline of your child or your children, so that the standard you set at your home are not contradicted when they go to your in-laws' home or when they even come around. And I've had situations also where people will go to somebody's house and then they will be telling them, no, don't do like this. And then is either the husband or the wife will say, I would say, no, this is how we train our own children. So you must learn to set boundaries in every aspect. You must learn to sit down your husband to set boundaries. Because if these boundaries are not set, communicated, upheld, it creates confusion for your children and conflict for the couple. Additionally, conflict occurs when the spouse refuses to correct their own parents for violating this couple's boundaries. Finally, the fourth one. Don't forget I said what to do when with an intrusive in-laws. Don't forget what I'm sharing now is dealing with in-laws. Number one, consider by asking yourself this question: is there really a problem? And I'm sure the answer is yes, there's a problem. Number two, discuss God's plans for in-laws. Number three, set reasonable boundaries line. Set boundaries in every aspect in your home to protect your home against in-laws. Set boundaries. Number four, communicate the boundary. Now, once you have agreed with your spouse concerning what the boundaries will be, then you must communicate that information to your in-laws. This can be done when the issue comes up or when the need arises. For example, when you drop off your children at the in-laws' home, remind them of your rules for their behavior and what they are allowed to watch on television. If there are specific things you are trying to address in the children's discipline, ask the in-laws to reinforce your decision. Or if you have made a decision that the in-laws don't like, communicate that you appreciate their concern, but the decision was carefully weighed by both of you, and this is what you have concluded is best for your children. I found out that it's best to have the blood relation communicate your desire with his or her own parents. So you could begin something like this: my wife and I have decided, or my husband and I have decided. Then your parents know this is unanimous decision. So communicate your boundaries. Let your in-laws know this is what is binding in your home concerning your spouse, concerning your children, concerning discipline, concerning decision making, concerning every aspect, that this is what is binding in your home. Not the way you are trained, but this is what your husband have come to agreed together, and this is what we will do. So communicate the boundaries to them. So the question is this. Because of my time, let me just quickly rush this. Okay, you have set boundaries. There's a problem. You have set boundaries in place. You have agreed. Number 5, what happens if your spouse does not respect the boundaries? Once you have set the boundaries for your in-laws, you must keep to them. But if one of the marriage partners violates the agreement, then the whole process breaks down and send a double message to the in-law. And I've seen this happen every now and then. We have set a boundary as a man. Your wife is still doing something else. She still leaks the information to your family, thereby, bouncing back at you. Sometimes they come and then say some things to you. Your wife, yes, apologize. Sometimes they don't apologize. So what do you do? So in addition to that, failing to keep an agreement with your spouse is a violation of your word and his or her trust. Now you must realize, if you violate your mate's trust, you have betrayed your vows. Many people today don't understand. When we talk about vows, when we talk about covenant, they think it's just a joke. Many today are in serious problem. Don't you break your vow, you are committing sin. That is as simple as literally as it is. So this is a serious issue and will not be easily resolved. Jesus made it clear that he wanted us to be men and women of our word. Jesus said, let your yes be yes and your no be no be no. Matthew 5 verse 37. So if we are not men of our own words, then we are no different than the Pharisees, whom just said and warned, say, for they say and do not do. Matthew 23 verse 3. So therefore, if you have not kept the agreement made concerning the family boundaries, then sit down again with your mate and discuss the issue. Ask for forgiveness for violating your agreements. Clarify again your concern and agree together about what should be done. Then keep your commitment. This is the essential if you want your spouse to trust you and your word. When you keep your word, your spouse will safely trust in you. Proverbs 31 verse 11. So I want to beg you by God's mercy, help us share this content. You need counsel, please speak to somebody about it. You need to talk to somebody, call